Hello, welcome and happy new year. Our task for today is to solve the system of equations on the board, and we will do that in two different ways. At the end of the video, you'll tell me which way you prefer. The first way starts out with the first equation and we square both sides of this equation. So we have root x plus root y squared is equal to 8 squared. Opening this bracket, we have root x squared, and of course that is equal to x because you know that this takes care of that. Plus 2 times root x times root y, and that is 2 root xy, because you know that root x multiplied by root y, from our rule of surds, this is equal to root xy. And lastly, we have root y squared, and that is equal to y. This is equal to 64. So we have x plus y plus 2 root xy is equal to 64. This is when we go over to the second equation. From here, we can see that x is equal to 16 plus y. So we replace x in this equation with 16 plus y. So we have 16 plus y plus 2 root 16 plus y multiplied by y, and this is equal to 64. So we have 16 plus y is 2y plus 2 square root of, we open this bracket and we have 16 times y plus y squared, and this is equal to 64. Now we send these two terms over to the right hand side of the equation, and we have 2 root 16y plus y squared is equal to 64 minus 16, minus 2y. And of course, this is equal to 48 minus 2y. So ultimately, we have that 2 root 16y plus y squared is equal to 48 minus 2y. Next is to divide both sides of this equation by 2. That takes care of that, and we have root 16y plus y squared is equal to 24 minus y. Now, at this point, to take care of this square root sign once more, we square both sides of this equation. And this takes care of that, leaving us with 16y plus y squared is equal to, opening this bracket, we have 24 squared plus 2 times 24 times minus y. So that is minus 48y. Then minus y squared, that is plus y squared. You can see that we have y squared here and we have y squared there, so they take care of themselves. And we are left with, we can also bring minus 48 over to the left-hand side of the equation to collect like terms, because you can see that we have 16y here and we have plus 48y, and this is equal to 24 squared. 16y plus 48y is equal to 64y, and this is equal to 24 squared. So now we divide both sides of this equation by 64. And we have, this takes care of that, and we have that y is equal to 24 times 24 divided by, because 24 squared is equal to that, divided by 64. 8 into that is 8. 8 into that is 3. 8 into 8 is 1, and 8 into this is 3. And from here, we have that y is equal to 3 times 3, which is 9. We go back to this to find the value of x. And of course, x is equal to 16 plus y. So we have that x is equal to 16 plus 9, and this is equal to 25. Now, when we go back to the original equations, you see that x is equal to 25. So, square root of x is 5, and square root of y is 3, and this is equal to 8. So, the values that we got satisfy the equation that we are trying to solve. X is equal to 25 and y is equal to 9. 25 minus 9 is equal to 16. So, this is the first method. Now, the second method of solving this equation starts off with the second equation. We can write x as square root of x squared, because you know that the square will take care of the square root sign, leaving us with x. And we can write y as square root of y squared, and this is equal to 16. Now you have one quantity squared, another quantity squared, and a difference. So this is the difference of two squares. And you know that when we have a squared minus b squared, this is simply equal to a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So now what we have here is root x plus root y multiplied by root x minus root y, and this is equal to 16. But then we come back to the first equation because we've been told that this is equal to 8. So we have that 8 multiplied by root x minus root y is equal to 16. When we divide both sides of this equation by 8, this takes care of that, and this leaves us with 2. So we have that root x minus root y is equal to 2. Now we have this equation, and we have this equation, and root x root y, so they have the same variables. So we can solve this and this simultaneously, and that is exactly what we are going to do. So now our first equation is root x plus root y is equal to 8, and our second equation is root x minus root y is equal to 2. If we add equation 1 to equation 2, we will eliminate root y, and we have that 2 root x is equal to 10, from where we have that root x is equal to 10 over 2, and that is equal to 5. And of course, to get x, what we simply do is to square. This takes care of that, telling us that x is equal to 25, same as we got using the first method. Now we come back to any of the equations because we've gotten that root x is equal to 5. Or we can also go to this since we've gotten the value of x. So we have that 25 minus y is equal to 16. 25 minus 16 is equal to y, and that is equal to 9. So that gives us that x is equal to 25 and y is equal to 9. And with that, we come to the end of this exercise. Like I said, tell me, which of the methods do you prefer? The first method or the second method? Until we see again, be good.